Groom's final dance. On April 23, 1993, a wedding reception was in full swing at a venue in Florida. A 30-year-old groom was celebrating with his new bride and their guests. Music played, people danced, photographers moved through the crowd, capturing moments. The groom had placed a beer glass in his trouser pocket earlier in the evening, a careless decision that no one noticed or questioned. He stepped onto the dance floor with a bridesmaid. They moved to the music, surrounded by other guests. Everyone was watching, smiling, taking pictures. His foot caught on something. He stumbled. His body pitched forward. He fell hard onto the floor. At first, people laughed. It looked like he was joking around, playing up the fall for entertainment. Wedding guests continued taking photos, expecting him to stand up and bow dramatically. But he didn't move. He remained on the ground. Then someone noticed the blood. The beer glass had shattered inside his pocket when he hit the floor. A shard of glass had driven deep into his upper inner thigh, severing his femoral artery. Blood began soaking through the fabric of his trousers, spreading rapidly. His expression changed from confusion to terror. He tried to push himself up but couldn't. His leg wouldn't support his weight. Groomsmen rushed over and applied pressure to the wound, but blood continued pumping out with each heartbeat. The femoral artery is one of the largest in the body, located deep in the thigh. Surface pressure was not enough to stop the bleeding. The bride knelt beside him, her white dress touching the blood-soaked floor. She was screaming his name. Other guests called for an ambulance. The groom lost massive amounts of blood within minutes. His face went pale. His breathing became shallow. He lost consciousness there on the reception floor, surrounded by wedding decorations and panicked guests. By the time paramedics arrived, he had already bled out. A simple beer glass, carelessly placed in a pocket, had cut through the artery and killed him. He was pronounced dead at the scene, his body covered with a sheet as the reception ended in silence. Groom's family. Death in Thailand. At a wedding reception in Thailand, the groom was celebrating his marriage. Family members surrounded them. The bride's mother and sister sat nearby. Other guests filled the venue. Music played, food was served, alcohol flowed freely throughout the evening. He drank heavily as the celebration continued. Those around him noticed his intoxication but thought little of it. Wedding receptions were meant for excess. At some point during the reception, he stood and walked away from the gathering. It appeared he was stepping outside for air or going to use the restroom. The celebration continued without him. Guests talked and laughed. No one suspected anything was wrong. Chairong went to his vehicle and retrieved a revolver he had stored there. He returned to the reception with the weapon concealed. He was still wearing his wedding attire. The groom drew the gun. He fired the first shot at his wife of only hours. She was hit but did not die instantly. The second shot struck her mother. The third hit her sister. The fourth found another guest. The gunfire was rapid. People had no time to react or flee. Some dove under tables. Others froze in place, unable to process what was happening. 4 people lay bleeding on the reception floor. He stood over them, still holding the weapon. Blood spread across the floor where moments before there had been dancing. Wedding decorations surrounded the scene. The cake sat untouched on a nearby table. Some victims were still moving, struggling to breathe. The bride had been shot by the man she had just married. Her mother lay dying beside her. Her sister was wounded. Guests were too terrified to approach while he still held the gun. He did not attempt to flee. He did not fire at anyone else. Instead, he turned the weapon on himself. He fired a single shot into his own head and collapsed among his victims. 4 people died at the reception, including himself. His wife, her mother, her sister, and another guest were all killed. The reception transformed into a crime scene within seconds. When police arrived, they found the groom dead by his own hand. His family members scattered around him. No clear motive was ever established beyond his intoxication.